Carolina, I'm sorry, the Columbia Chamber Small Business Breakout. For those of you that come often, you see a new and much older face. Jared Clary, who has been our chair for the last 3 years, is in New York City doing some training for his new job. But I'd be remiss not to recognize him because Jared has been a great chair for the Small Business Council for the last 3 years. He led us through COVID, which everybody knows is lots of fun. So I hate that he isn't here because this would have been his last meeting. I'm Adam Jones. I'm the incoming chair for the Small Business Council of the Columbia Chamber. I'm with Jones McCadden and Associates LLC. We're an association management and a government relations firm here in Columbia on Assembly Street. I've been a member of the chamber for at least 15 years. We're trying to figure out how long that was, and I couldn't count back, but I have gotten a lot out of this between just being a member of the chamber, the Small Business Council, and a special shout out to Leadership Columbia if we have any other graduates here in the room. We have a great number of people coming today. That we had 122 people registered, so that's really great. It looks like the weather might have kept a little of them down, but when I first joined this council 5 years ago, we were lucky to have about 18 to 20 people. So that's saying a lot and saying the chamber is doing their job. Today's breakout is about providing big opportunities for small business. We're pleased today to have a very distinguished panel of experts to talk about procurement opportunities in their organizations. We all know that small businesses are the backbone of America, and small businesses are very dependent on opportunities from larger businesses to help and participate in state government as well as at the city and county level. I'd like to ask each of our panel members to introduce themselves and tell us about their organization, size, number of employees, total budget, et cetera, and then we'll get started with some questions. So I'll turn it over to you.
Is this on? Okay, it is. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jennifer Wladischkin, and I work with Richland County government. And I'm very pleased to be here today and meet everyone. So please stop by and say hello. Richland County, we are headquartered right down the street. We do purchasing for all of the county facilities, the detention center, the sheriff's department, utilities, public works. We have about 2,000 employees. And looking forward to meeting everyone today. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Gary Porth, and I am a construction procurement manager for the city of Columbia here in Columbia. And we do a lot of, I tell people in a nutshell, I buy paving, water, and sewer and stormwater systems for the city of Columbia. Again, we do a little more than that, but that's primarily what I'm involved in with the construction end. City of Columbia has about 2,200 employees. I don't have a budget, but we've got it on our website as far as the money that we spend on sewer, water, and stormwater every year, which is quite a bit, as you would imagine. We're currently under a consent decree with the Department of Justice and the Environmental Protection Agency with our sewer system, trying to bring it up to speed. There have been some issues with that with SSOs. If those of you that knows what those are, sanitary sewer overflows, and we're trying to increase our capacity and help with that to cut down the number of those, because we get fined by EPA every time we have an overflow. So we have to keep records of all that. So our goal is not to have any, and of course that's nearly impossible for municipalities, but we want to keep them to a minimum, and that's what we're doing. So our work, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it in a little bit. We've got a website, procurement website, whereby we advertise all of our procurements, and I would encourage and invite you to register as a vendor on that website. And when you do, then when we put out a procurement that touches on something that you do, either goods and or services that you provide, you'll be notified by the system. So it's really a good system. And then without that, you can also go in anytime and look at it. And I've got one of my colleagues, Jewel Buff, is here with me. Jewel's sitting over here. And we brought a laptop. If anyone needs help with that in registering, I'd urge you to see Jewel today, and we'll try to take care of that for you as well. So we'd love to get you all registered as vendors with us. So thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and look forward to speaking to you a little later.
All right, good morning. I am Kimber Craig. I am the Deputy Chief Procurement Officer for the state of South Carolina. I work for the Division of Procurement Services at the State Fiscal Accountability Authority. We are the central procurement office for the state. However, the state does have a two-tier procurement system. So a lot of state agencies have authority to do things on their own without coming through our office. By statute, anything over $50,000 comes through our office. There are agencies that are larger agencies. If you think DOT, DHEC, DSS, they have larger procurement staffs and they have higher certifications, so they can spend more under their own authority before they come to our office to do that. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But I'm glad to be here and thank you for having me.
So much for being here. Sorry about that. We do have several questions to present additional information on what is available, and we'll also provide an opportunity for you all to ask some questions. But first off, what types of opportunities are there for small businesses to partner with your organizations? Like copiers, IT, marketing, janitorial services, leadership, training, or catering, any type of opportunities for small business?
Yes. As you can imagine, the state of South Carolina buys just about anything that you need, from things that are general office products, copiers, office supplies, furniture, that sort of thing, all the way up to services. So janitorial, security, specialty services. So we do a lot with like DSS and DDSN, where there'll be physical therapy or psychotherapy or other types of social services. So if you sell it, the state probably buys it. What you really need to make sure that you do is to find opportunities is know your market, know what agencies might be interested in that. And because our procurement system's based on the dollar value being procured, there are different rules depending on the dollar value. If you know what those rules are and where your products and services will fall, you'll know where to go. So if it's a smaller purchase, you can go directly to the agencies. And there are different procurement and competition requirements for that. If it's a larger dollar, those are going to be advertised in the South Carolina Business Opportunities publication. It's on our website. If you look at the QR code that's on your sheet, you can get to our website. There's 2 pages. One is our main website, and then the second link will take you directly to our new vendor information. And that tells you everything about the rules in South Carolina and gives you a good place to start. So if you know who might be interested in buying it and about how much they're going to spend, that will tell you the best way to approach the state.
I'm again with the city of Columbia, and I want to tell you, we are, as you would imagine, city council is really, really big on local and small businesses and minority businesses and doing business with those businesses. We've got a member of our Office of Business Opportunities sitting here with us today too, and I wanted to recognize that's Kalina, I believe, right? And Kalina Ginyard's here with us. And first off, local business enterprise is what one of the city's programs whereby we encourage local businesses to bid on our projects. And there's basically a formula that if the project, and we do this for any projects, small or large, and I don't think it, Kalina, correct me if I'm wrong, and there's no dollar amount on local business enterprise. I think we try to incorporate it in everything we do. And if you are a local bidder, and let's just say we have a project that we're bidding, and if you are registered with the city, the Office of Business Opportunities as a local business enterprise, and let me back up, and a local business enterprise has to be from one of the, what we call an 8-county CSA, combined statistical area, which is Richland County and 7 of the surrounding counties. And a couple other criteria involved. You have to have an office there and some other things. But if you're registered with the city as a local business enterprise, and let's just say we take bids and you're the second lowest bidder. The lowest bidder is from Greenville, which is not a local business enterprise. So if you're within 5% of the bid of the low bid amount, you then have the opportunity as a local business enterprise to take the project at the low bidder's price. And again, it's your option. You can take it or you can leave it. But being a local business enterprise does have its advantages in the city of Columbia. We've also got another program called Mentor Protege Program that works through our Office of Business Opportunities as well, whereby we pair up. And I'm looking at this side because Kalina's over here, but I certainly don't want to feel like I'm leaving you all out. A mentor protege is just what it says. You've got a mentor who's a contractor, a vendor who's been around a while and kind of knows the ropes, and they'll take on a young or a new contractor, if you will, as a protege, and they work very closely together on projects. And we bid some projects that are specified as a mentor protege program project. So you have to be a mentor protege team registered with the City of Columbia in order to bid on that project. And the guidelines, again, I'm getting in Kalina's, weeds with that, but the protege has to do at least 20% of the work. And that has to be certified and provided, to the city and pay apps and all that. So it provides an opportunity for the protege to learn the ropes, if you will. And our goal is to one day have that protege become a mentor to other new proteges as they come along. And another program we've got, and I'm speaking very quickly, I'll be happy to answer questions afterwards if you all have any other questions about these. And Kalina probably can help you with those too, is the Columbia Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program. We call it CDBE. And it basically is a DBE program, and it's you basically have to be registered as a DBE or certified, as a DBE. The City of Columbia does not certify DBEs. You have to be certified through either the governor's office or through DOT. I believe are the two big ones that certify DBEs, and you all are probably very, very familiar with that. Once you're certified as a DBE, then it's a very small, like a one-page application to become a Columbia Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. And of course, the City Council and the City of Columbia looks out. We're very encouraged by trying to get those businesses involved in doing work for the city. So, we set a lot of our programs and they have to have a value of $200,000 or more. We put a goal, a CDBE goal in the project. And the contractor then has to submit to that goal that they will use CDBEs to do at least a certain portion of the work, be it 9%, 10%, 15%. I've seen them as high as 28%. And all that depends on the kind of work that's being done. Office of Business Opportunities has a methodology that they go through when determining the goal. First off, we want to make sure that we've got CDBEs that can do the work in the area. And again, the fact that they're here sometimes doesn't really give us a true picture because they may be here, but they may be busy. You all know it's a very busy time right now, a lot of work going on. And if they can't do the work, then that kind of sometimes creates a problem for us. But we're very, very mindful of small and local and disadvantaged businesses. We really like to work with those. The City Council has directed that. That's been a goal of theirs, and it transcends right on down into what we do. So look forward to talking to you more about those programs. If y'all have any questions, like I said, I'll be around after the panel session, and we'll be happy to talk with you.
I got my own. Thank you, Gary. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but yes, the county has many opportunities for our small local businesses. Richland County has an Office of Small Business Opportunities. So I encourage you to reach out to those folks. They can assist you with various things like bonding issues, insurance. They do a lot of training programs. We have the SLBE program, Small Local Business Enterprises. We have some preference programs associated with those. If you are registered SLBE, you're eligible for participation in larger contracts where, as Gary mentioned, we'll associate a percentage of participation for those projects. We also have a sheltered market program where if we identify enough SLBEs that are have the ability to do the work, then we will limit that project to only the registered SLBEs. We do a lot of procurement of, obviously, as Kimber mentioned, anything that you sell, we pretty much buy. We also do a lot of professional services, engineering. We do some work with transportation, lane striping, asphalt, sidewalks, all those types of things. We do things like we have a stormwater department, microbiology. I'm reaching here because I haven't had a chance to speak to everyone, so I don't know what your specialty is, but I look forward to speaking to you all and seeing how you can fit in and work with Richland County.
Thank you. Something we all want to know here, though, what's your standard procurement process for a business for your organization?
Yeah, I'll go first this time. So we have a website, obviously, and we have an online portal called Bonfire. I encourage everyone to register. There's some information that we placed on the tables as to how you can find us. If you register through Bonfire, you will be notified of opportunities if they are in your NAICS codes. So we encourage everybody to make sure that they register on Bonfire. It will ask you to upload some information like a W-9, your proof of insurance and that sort of thing. You do not have to do that in order to bid on a project. All you need to do is put in your name, your phone number, and the name of your company. Of course, if you were to be awarded something, you would need to provide that information, but it will not prevent you from bidding. So please don't think that the program is too cumbersome. If you have any questions, feel free to call our office. I have some folks here with my staff, so we'll be happy to help you in any way we can. Once you're registered, you will, as I said, be notified of the formal solicitations that we advertise. They're also advertised in SCIBO, South Carolina Business Opportunities. And then we also have programs that are informal. These are smaller projects. Some that come to mind are maybe like a fencing project, concrete work, that sort of thing. Those projects are not advertised. And so again, if you're registered and we can find you on our portal, then we will reach out to you to receive an informal quote. Those can be emailed to us or faxed to us. And those do not go through the same formal process that a bid or a request for proposal would be. So anything over $15,000 gets advertised in SCIBO, and anything under that, we just directly request quotes from vendors.
We in the city also use we have a website, and it's through a software called Iron Wave. And I've got I've got some cards here. I think I've got enough for everybody. So if y'all want to get a card, if you have any questions afterwards, feel free, you can contact me. And I'll give you our website. I think Susan said she was going to put it on the material and stuff. It's called, if you just go to the City of Columbia and go under procurement, it'll pop up with the website. And as Jennifer said, you can look, one of the things about our vendor is you can see any procurement that we've got out there, active procurement. But you cannot, there are two things you can't do unless you're registered. One of those things is ask a question on a procurement. The other thing is put in a bid. You have to be registered to do that. And registration is a fairly painless process. It's pretty short. And what happens is you put in your information, and then it'll be verified by Jewel or somebody with the city. I think Connie Heinen is kind of taking most of that now. She's back in the office, and then you'll receive a notification that you have been registered. You'll have a username and password. And this is an improvement over we used to use Bid Online, and Bid Online, limited to any vendor, could only have one registrant. With the difference in what we had then and what we have now is with eBid, we call it for short, it's Iron Wave. You can have numerous representatives from your organization who can register. So there's no limit to the number of people who can register. And then, as I said, you can see bids or RFPs, whatever. We've got, let me back up a little bit. We've got construction division, which is what I'm over. We've got goods and services, which they do, I don't know, I'm thinking, Jewel, correct me if I'm wrong, 7,000 procurements a year. They buy anything. In the old days, I say from thumbtacks to fire trucks and everything in between. I'm limited, basically, like I said, I buy water, sewer, paving, stormwater, that kind of stuff. And then we've got our professional services division, which does, architectural and engineering services. A lot of RFPs and RFQs and things go out with them. And then we've also got a contract administration, which is fairly new to us, which is really good because it helps us manage our contracts once they're in place, extensions, change orders, all those kinds of things. And, even though change orders sometimes is a bad word, they do happen and for various reasons, but you have to keep up with that. And, we found that we were just all over the place with trying to manage those. So we implemented a contract administration division, and that's doing very well as we're inputting our data and getting everything in. It helps us to better keep a handle on, when is a contract set to expire. We used to have some people in the city, and I won't call any names, who felt like this contract was set to end on, March the 31st of 2020. And here it is 2022, and we get a call, well, we need to, we need to get this contract reissued. our legal department, and very truthfully, if a contract is over, it's over. And they finally slammed the hammer down and says, when a contract's over, it's over. You cannot bring one back from the dead. We had people trying to do that all the time. So it makes them put a stronger emphasis on trying to keep up with these contracts and manage them, as I said. Most of the things I do, getting back to, what we do and how we procure them, most of everything I do in construction is an invitation for bid. We post it on our website. We do a lot of requests for quotes, and just get quotes on small purchases that Jewel and those handle in our goods and services division as well. And then, of course, I said RFPs and things such as that for architectural engineering services. So, but again, all that's included on our website. So I would highly encourage you all to register as a vendor. And I said, it's a painless process, and that'll just get you it'll avail you to the opportunities that we're providing for, trying to find people to do the work that we have in the city of Columbia, which is a lot. We've got a lot going on, as I'm sure Jennifer would tell you, and Kimber as well from the state. It's a very, very busy time right now, and which is good for you all. And I say it's good for us too, because we're busy. We're trying to upgrade our systems and our facilities and bring everything up to speed. So again, I'll be happy to answer questions as we move on.
Okay, so for the state, like at Richland County and City of Columbia, you must be registered as a vendor. You go to our website, go through the registration process. It is reviewed and you're approved as a vendor. The key things that being registered as a vendor does, one, it will notify you of advertised solicitations that are entered through what we call the SKIS system, which is our procurement system with the state. It will allow you to respond online to those bidding opportunities, and it allows you to get paid because it's tied to our finance system. So if you're not registered, the state can't cut you a check. So that's kind of the most critical piece. So what we have with our procurement rules, it depends on, again, how much the contract or the procurement is worth. So at the state, anything up to $10,000 is considered a fair and reasonable purchase. So as long as the procurement officer at the agency making the purchase determines that the price being offered is fair and reasonable, they can issue that PO without any additional competition. So you can call one person, determine it's fair and reasonable, issue the PO up to $10,000. Between $10,000 and $25,000, and again, this is still at the agency level, we are required to have a written request for written quotes. So typically that's going to be in the form of an email to at least 3 vendors. And then we need to get that response back in writing. So it needs to be, we still have agencies that use fax machines, believe it or not. Most of it is done via email. Somebody could walk in and hand it to you. That paper's fine. It still works. That's still written. So it has to be a written request and a written response for quotes. So it's 3 quotes to go to that takes you up to 25,000. In 2018, 2019, we changed the code. We added a new group of procurement. So small construction procurements and what we call commercial off the shelf products, or COTS. COTS are things that, if you think about, you can go into a store and buy, and it's something that's commercially available. Anybody can go buy it. So if you think, I'm going to go buy a t-shirt with my logo embroidered on it, or I'm going to go buy, an HVAC unit that's a standard HVAC unit to put in the window. Those are considered commercial off the shelf, and we can do those with 3 quotes up to $100,000. Now, what you can't have is services. So I can't buy an air conditioning unit and then the services to install it as part of a COTS, because the services aren't included. It's only the actual unit. I can't do anything that's custom. So if it's a piece of software, but I have to have major services to customize and make it so it runs to suit my business, I can't use that doing COTS. So it's got to be something that pretty much I can walk into a store and buy it. Any other business can walk into a store and buy it and not have to make any changes and use it. That can go up to 3 quotes, up to $100,000. If it is not COTS and it's over $25,000, that's when the state's required to advertise. So between $25,000 and $100,000, that's just an advertised small purchase. So it will be advertised in SCIBO, that's the South Carolina Business Opportunities. That's on our website. It also has advertisements. Jennifer said Richland County advertises in there. I believe City of Columbia does as well. So a lot of cities, counties, locals also advertise in SCIBO. So it gets you, the state has to, everybody else has the option. So it's a good place to get a wide variety of things that are out there. Then anything over 100,000 is a formal solicitation. So that's going to be a competitive sealed bid, competitive sealed proposal, best value bid, but that is a more formal process. And so that is done at the agencies if they are certified, and it's done at our office. Everything we do at our office is a competitive sealed procurement.
So a big takeaway is register for with all of you guys if you want to stay informed and stuff like that. And for the SCIBO, I know it sounds like SKE, like ski ball, but I think it's SCIBO.org.
It's just SCBO.
It's SCBO. So yeah.
And if you, the link, the QR code with the link to our website, it is one of the first, I think in the bar over to the right, there is South Carolina Business Opportunities. I mean, it's a link that'll take you straight there. It is searchable, so you can search by category, you can search by the date, and pretty much when an opportunity is advertised in SCIBO, it stays on the website until the bid opening or proposal deadline is reached.
Is there a specific time of year that are the best business opportunities to look out, or openings, like calendar year, fiscal year, or is it just kind of all throughout?
What we see at the state, of course, I'm a little bit different because I'm at the central office. So our fiscal year for the state is July 1 to June 30. So we actually see a drop off the end of part of June, first part of July, because agencies are closing out fiscal year end. They're getting their purchase orders in place for the new year. So it's really busy at the agency level, but it's a little less for us. I mean, ours is more kind of even keel. We start seeing a really big influx from agencies on the larger procurements. Once they know what their budget is, July 1, we'll start seeing procurement requests come in about late August, early September. We'll see a dip at Christmas because everybody takes vacation. And then January, everybody realizes I still got money to spend. I only got 6 months to do it. So we get a big bump in January for our office.
The city of Columbia also is on a July 1st to June 30th fiscal year as well. And we have a little tail off, you know, as budgets are being loaded after council approves the budget in June. And then when they've loaded the 1st of July, it's usually about mid to late July before we actually get requisitions where we can actually put a solicitation out. One of the things that we have to have before we put one out, again, we don't just randomly put out something because somebody has a need. They have to have the money identified to pay for it. And that's called a requisition. So we can't put a solicitation out until we get that requisition. And sometimes that's a holdup, as I said, at the beginning of a new fiscal year, to get that requisition in place so we can then put the project out for bid. So there may be a little bit of a windfall, I guess, in late July and early August, but ours pretty well stays pretty steady throughout the year as far as, let's say, because we've got needs, you know, and biggest thing is trying to find contractors. We've got a limited number of contractors in the area, and we get a few that, you know, from out of the state and from out of the combined statistical area of the 8 counties I mentioned earlier. But, you know, we still have, and I will always, for lack of a better term, the same Tom, Dick, and Harrys that are bidding, you know, and again, the capacity of our contractors is huge because, as you well would imagine, that raises price for us. We're spending not our money, it's you all's money, it's the public's money. So we're very mindful of that, of getting the biggest bang for the buck. And so we won't, I tell contractors all the time, I'm on the opposite side of the page from them. You know, I love it when I have 10 open bids and we have 10 bids. You know, you all like it if you only got one bid and you're that bidder. And of course, you got to be within the budget. You know, with the city's not, we can't spend money we don't have. But it's two sides of the coin. And again, I'm always looking to ways that we can increase participation. And that's why it's important to be at this small business event today, that, you know, we'd love to get you all involved in any way we can to try to broaden our base. And I think any of you, if you sit back, you understand and realize that competition it's kind of a word that you think about, well, I don't like, yeah, you do like competition, because competition is good for you. If you don't believe that, I challenge you to look into it a little further. It keeps you on your toes. It makes you do a better job, because when you're competing with somebody else, in this baseball team, the Fireflies out here, they're not going to pick a guy that they just brought up who's never played center field before, when they've got two other guys on the roster who played center field and made some pretty spectacular catches, and they can hit the ball. In other words, it makes you strive to do a better job. So competition is good for you, and that's what we look for. So, all right.
Yeah, Gary touched on some good points. I will agree with my fellow presenters that it used to be that we would see a lull again to match our fiscal year, which is July 1 to June 30. Again, we'd have the holidays, we'd kind of see a little bit of a lull, but I have to say over the past probably 5 years, that lull has gone away and we are busy 12 months out of the year. So always projects, always work. Right now in the climate that we're in, what we're finding is that we are issuing bids and we may have one submittal. And as Gary mentioned, that's not ideal. Not only is it one submittal, it's typically above the budget that we had originally estimated, which could have been done several months ago and now, of course, is no good. So I encourage everyone to participate. Get online, know about the projects if you're able to do the work. I know you all are facing some of the same things that we are with staffing shortages and things like that. So I'm hearing, that's why there aren't so many bidders. But if you are willing and able, please go on and participate. We want you to be involved and we want you to get some of our taxpayer money for these projects.
Great, thank you. So everybody needs to go register with all these to keep up to date, to see when these RFPs and RFQs are coming out. I do want to open it up to the audience for questions real quick. Any questions from the audience? Mr. Jones?
Yeah, so for the state of South Carolina, when we do a low bid, and for those of you who couldn't hear the question, I think he asked, when you do a low bid, do you consider the capacity or capability of the bidder, who is the low bidder, to take that in consideration? So when we award a contract, we have to make sure that the bidder is responsive and responsible, and they're two similar, but not exact same terms. So if a vendor is responsive, they have agreed to do what we have asked them to do in our solicitation. So if I have put out a solicitation and I want to buy 10 pickup trucks for DNR, and somebody comes back and they said, well, I can give you 8 minivans. Well, I didn't ask for 8 minivans. I asked for 10 pickup trucks. You're not responsive. So I don't care how low your price is. You're not giving me what I asked for. The second concept is responsibility. So can the vendor perform? Can they really do the work that we've asked them to do? So I may have somebody come and say, yes, I can sell you 10 pickup trucks and I can sell them to you for $2,000 a piece. Well, I know, and you know, that nobody can buy a pickup truck for $2,000 right now. Certainly not a new one, which is what I would be asking for. And I also want to look at, has that vendor, are they a dealer? Are they, are they an automobile dealer? Or are they, their normal course of business, a construction company? So if they cannot perform, and I don't think they have the ability to perform either from a product standpoint, from a financial standpoint, then I can declare them non-responsible and I don't award them, even though they're the lowest price. If they can't do it, I need to go to somebody that I know can do the work. We've had cases, some agencies have done janitorial contracts, for example, and they may have multiple locations that they're bidding separately because the goal is to get as many businesses involved as possible. And they may have a person that's the low bidder on all 10 buildings, and they're a small company. And they're like, well, we don't think you can do all 10, but we can do 5. So they can say, well, we'll give you the 5 and then we'll award the other 5 to someone else because we don't think you have the capability to do everything you've bid on. So we do look at that.
And Pretty much echoing what Kimber said, we do responsiveness and responsibility checks on all of our bids as well. And again, responsiveness is just what Kimber mentioned. Did the bidder do what we asked them to do? Did they submit to what we asked them? They can't change the bid form and say, we're not going to give you this, which is what you asked, so we'll give you this. That's non-responsive. Responsibility is, do they have the physical meaning the manpower and those kinds of things, and as well as the financial means to perform the work. And we look at past performance and things such as that. And again, like Kimber said, if you're going to sell me 10 trucks and you're going to sell them for $2,000 a piece, everybody knows they can't do that. So we would call that non-responsible. Responsibility, licensing is also a responsibility issue. Are they properly licensed? If they're doing work at our wastewater treatment plant, are they licensed with LLR to do that kind of work? Because if they don't have the proper license, and we specify that in the bid, what kind of license you have to have if a certain license is required. Pretty much all of our bids for our construction work, you do have to be a licensed general contractor with the state of South Carolina. So if they're not licensed, then that becomes a responsibility issue. So they're deemed non-responsible. And as Kimber said, then we'll move on to the next lowest bidder. So we do look at, an issue such as that. Call it responsiveness and responsibility, as Kimber said. So.
Yes, and so not to take up too much time, but what Kimber and Gary said goes for the county as well. Some of the things that we do to try to help us determine that is if it's clearing and grubbing, for example, we may look to have you provide an equipment list or something of that nature so that we can, use that information to make our determination for that bid. So, yes.
Any more questions from the audience?
So I'm a new business owner, and all of this feels almost like I have to hire somebody to just do all of that because I don't know what I don't know. And there seems to be so much of it that I'm learning as I'm going. Do you have a contact person? I know you said that there's somebody here that will help us, but beyond here today, is there somebody that we can stay in touch with to walk us through the process of applications, whatever we don't know, how we learn about it? Because I know you said CBE. I went online and I already lost you. I couldn't find the form. And I'm like, no, I really want that.
Yes.
So
There are, if you go to our website, there's a contact us list. And there's contacts for vendor registration, there's contacts for procurement. Anybody should be able to help you. I'm also going to put a plug in. There is a group they're based, I think, out of USC. They're called the Procurement Technical Assistance Center, or PTAC. It's a federally funded program, I think, through DOD. And their mission is to help small businesses navigate the world that is government contracting. So they do it for federal contracts, state contracts, local contracts. The gentleman that heads that up, his name is Ron Connor. I don't have his contact information, but if you Google South Carolina PTAC, you can probably get their contact information, and they are a very good resource to help you navigate, because it can be complicated, especially if you're new.
I as well, and as I said, I've got some cards. I may not be able to help you, but I promise you, I will get you in the hands of somebody who can. And again, I understand it is, when you're new and just getting started, it's almost mind-boggling as all the hoops you have to jump through. But we're certainly here to help, and we'll do everything we can to try to, as I said, get you into the right hands who can give you that guidance and help to get you along the way. So there are a lot of acronyms used in procurement, as there are a lot in other fields as well. I'm very guilty of it myself when I talk about CDB sometimes to people, MPP. We got all kinds of acronyms to use, and to the average person, they don't know what I'm talking about. Stop me. And I don't mean to do that. It's just what I'm comfortable with doing. And I know what they mean, but trust me, there was a time when I didn't know either. And again, I'll pledge to you that, get one of my cards, and not only you, but everybody. If you got a question, call me. If I can't answer it, and I very well may not be able to answer it, but I very likely know someone who can, and I'll try to get you in that person's hands, and then we'll kind of help you along and move you along that way. So we're here to help.
So I think.
We need you all, what I'm trying to say.
Exactly, yes, agree. So I think you've taken the right first step that you're here. And, you know, this has been a great event. We do have assistance. You're welcome to contact anyone in the procurement office. We can help you with registration and things like that. As I mentioned before, we have an Office of Small Business Opportunities. So they're willing to assist with, you know, anything. I'm going to go ahead and apologize. I know that as we sit up here, you know that each one of us has our own procurement. So yes, you have to register with each one of us to hear about our opportunities. You know, it's just the nature of the game. But at the same time, it's that many more opportunities in this area for small businesses. So think of it that way as well.
If I could, I'd like to throw in too, again, I mentioned Kalina Ginyard's here from our Office of Business Opportunities. Kalina's a huge resource as well, and she would probably be one I would direct you to. And they do a lot with our small businesses, minority businesses and disadvantaged businesses as far as trying to groom them and get them involved in what we do at the city. So a great resource.
Well, thank you all very much for sharing your information. And to help with a lot of these same questions, on your agenda, there's a QR code. And if you scan it, it'll take you directly to the websites of the folks up here on the stage. I'm sure they'll stick around for a little while to meet you and try to help you with that too. Columbia Chamber could not do this without the support of our sponsors. So I do want to point you to the bottom of the agenda and our sponsors: BlueCross South Carolina, Splash Omni Media, and of course our great host here, the Columbia Fireflies. The sounds and images are doing all the mics. So thanks to all those. So if we could give them a round of applause. I'd like to add one more of our sponsors. Reps Kelly Laird with Dominion would like to come up and give a brief infomercial on benefits Dominion has for small businesses.
Hi, my name is Kelly Laird, and I represent Dominion Energy's EnergyWise programs, which are our incentives for small businesses. Now, these incentives, I have a little fact sheet if anybody wants to stop by and pick it up. I have left my business cards at home this morning, so my phone number is 678-687-0517, and you can certainly drop a business card off to me and I'll contact you. But what these incentives are is they're for electric energy upgrades to higher efficiency equipment of any kind. So we have many, many programs. It's a conversation that we can have with any contractor. And we also, the money can go either to the customer or as a discount to the customer through the contractor. So this is open to all businesses, and we certainly want to meet with our counties, our cities, our schools, and let them know these monies are available. You can be awarded up to, not awarded, you can apply for money that is pre or post-tax money each and every year up to $100,000 per project type. So we're talking lighting retrofits, we're talking new construction, HVAC improvements, building performance, technical assistance. So we have lots and lots of different programs that we want to talk to you about and make sure this money is going back to our local community, because it is our local community's money that is put into this pool and is managed by Dominion Energy. So thank you for your time today. This has been a wonderful meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Okay, and now I would like to bring up, so you got a dot. We normally do some program marketing, networking, but we're running short on time. So I want to bring up Henry Baskins, the Vice President of the Columbia Chamber, to talk about our, the MMBA program.
It was with great pleasure that I can talk about our Minority Business Accelerator. It's a program that's been in existence in the country for about 20 years. It is a program that is really designed to help small businesses, minority businesses, and any minority that fits the federal definition of minority. It's to learn to work on their business and not just in their business. If you are a small business owner here, we understand that you're busy handling the cash register, you're dumping the trash, you're doing the books, you're sweeping the floors. But do you know that if you want your business to grow, if you want your business to be what you dreamt that it would be, you have to learn how to work on your business. So we have a program that's been in existence for since January. This is cohort 2022. They will graduate in December. 8 businesses, small businesses in that program. And the national trend for those who go through this program is that they increase their average gross revenue by 30% year over year. That's nothing to snicker at. 30% year over year is a good rate of return for anyone. And not only does it teach you how to bring money in, but how you can identify what's causing some hiccups you may be having. Right now, I'm not going to say much because this has been a great session. And I want to thank our panelists here today. You have been very interesting. You've given great information. We will like to invite each of you to talk to our Minority Business Accelerator class. Let them hear what you have to say. So thank you again. But I would like to introduce a couple of people right now. The chairman of our Minority Business Accelerator, we have an advisory council, is Karen Jenkins. Karen is the owner of KRJ Consulting. Karen is also on our executive board. And Karen can share with you her experience with this program because she's been through that program. After Karen, there is Lynn Hutto. Lynn is managing the program for us. So Lynn is the one that says, get your homework in on time. Why are you late? You know, but right now I'll turn it over to Karen. Karen?
Good morning. I am honored to be here and honored to serve in this role to help support this Midlands Business Advisory Accelerator. This program incorporates women and small business owners in the minority community as well as non-minority for women. So I don't want anybody to think that it's just for minorities. It's minority women-owned businesses. I'm a product. I graduated from this curriculum in 2018. I had to drive to Charlotte twice a month to participate in this program. It was through the SBA. And I asked over and over and over again if they would bring this to Columbia because I knew that the businesses here would definitely prosper. And at the end of the day, our community would prosper once we had our small businesses go through this program. I was so honored and pleased to see that the chamber was able to step up to the plate and bring this program to our community. I am a product. There are only 3% of businesses in the country that make over $1 million in revenue. Did y'all know that? But there are multiple businesses that have gone through this program that have gone in, not only met that, but exceeded it. Now, that's not a guarantee. But if you have the right tools, if you know the rules of the game, then you will be successful. And this program is there to present those successful tips to you. So as Henry said, the application is out on our website. Please go out and register. If you know of another small business that you think would qualify, the qualifications are out there. Lynn is going to tell you a little bit about that. And I hope that I get to see you guys in the cohort in January for our second round of the Midlands Business Advisory Accelerator. Thank you.
Thank you. I know Henry said I'm the one that gets everybody to get their homework, but I also help them see the value in the program. I make sure they're connected because one of the things that happens in the program, and we have Heather here, who's one of our cohorts. Thank you, Heather, for being here. Is that while they do this work, it's a program, as Henry said, starts in January, ends in December. And we have 12 sessions and it's broken into 5 modules. And throughout that work, Heather will attest to the fact that they also have to run their own businesses. So part of what I do is I stay in touch with them. I make sure they get what they need to be successful in the program. We have coaches. We have Alan Brown back here. He's with SBDC. Guys, we have a lot of acronyms that we deal with, so please forgive me. But I help them stay connected. We have coaches for each one of our cohorts. We have a mentoring coach. We also have financial coaches. And so I connect all these people together. One of the things that makes this session today valuable is to our cohorts is we will be talking about procurement. We also introduce them to different facets of businesses. Most of them will tell you that they thought they knew what they knew, but they realized they didn't really know what they didn't know. So we make sure that we bring people in to help them understand the true facets of what it takes to be in business and what it takes to scale and be successful at a higher level than they've been used to operating. Many of them, they're not startups. They've been in business for many, many years, but they've just gotten to a point where just can't get to a certain level. And so we have people like Alan, coaches, and Henry, and Karen as advisors to come in, and these people have already done what they're trying to do. So it's a great program. If you would like to apply, if you don't know whether you are eligible or not, go to the Chamber's website, go to business development and look at the program. And if you still have doubt, apply anyway. Apply anyway. We will make contact with you and have discussions because maybe there's some things that we don't understand or we may not understand or you didn't understand about the program. So I can't say enough. Please apply. We would love to work with you. We start our new cohort up in January, and we're looking forward to hopefully meeting and talking to a great many of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do we have Alyssa here with the Fireflies? While we're looking for her, I will go ahead and Chamber's got a lot going on here, and I know we have a lot of partners here. If you're not a partner, please consider joining. The Chamber's benefited me a lot in my career, and I'm sure it can yours too. Other than the Small Business Breakout, they do have other events. On the first Tuesday of each month, they have the Chamber Issues Forum. This is a great way to get plugged in what's going on kind of politically. They have a combined Small Business Breakout and Northeast Connection the third Tuesday of the month, which is this, and we'll be back here September 20th. Military Outreach Group has some dates that you can find online. Partner engagements are monthly, the second or third Thursday, and then we have some annual events. So please do plug into the Chamber. What Jared, my predecessor, would say, that Chamber's like a gym membership. You get out of it what you put in. So you got to network to get work. So please be active. And now, for Fireflies tickets, Daniel Andrews with NIA. Daniel, okay, got to be here to win. Freddie Merchant with Splash. Well, thank you, everybody. We'll be back here September 20th. So please come back for our next Small Business Breakout and have a great back to school month.